Hey friends, so we're going to continue reading about Kevin Henkes and his great books. This one is called Julius, Baby of the World. And this is another book about Lily. You can recognize her because she's wearing her boots. Does she have her crown on? No, she doesn't, but she does have her disguise on. So in Lily's purple plastic purse, her little brother Julius was already born and we barely met him. But now we're going back and we're going to meet him when he's first born. Now think about Lily. Do you think she's excited to have a baby brother? Let's see. Julius, Baby of the World by Kevin Henkes. He's the author and the illustrator. I really love this book. So here she is. Now she's wearing her cape and she's wearing her crown. And she's saying, "You mean that Bump is going to be a baby? I thought you were just getting fat like Aunt Mona." Remember Lily, she's quite the character and she definitely says what's on her mind. And here she is. Hooray! We're having a baby. And she's got pillows under her dress. Before Julius was born, Lily was the best big sister in the world. She gave him things, she told him secrets, and she sang lullabies to him every night. Here she is with some toys. She said, "These are for the baby." And here she is talking to the baby through her mom's tummy. After Julius was born, it was a different story. Lily took her things back. She pinched his tail. Can you imagine pinching a baby? And she yelled insulting comments into his crib. When an insulting comment is something that's not very nice, and you're never going to believe what she says. Here she is. First, she's like, "These are mine." And look, she's pinching his tail. She's making faces and yelling at him. And then she's making a lot of noise. "I am the queen," says Lily. "And I hate Julius." Hate is a very strong word, don't you think? But her parents loved him. They kissed his wet pink nose, they admired his small black eyes, and they stroked his sweet white fur. So if you remember either last time or the time before I told you that Kevin Henkes has these little refrains, this is one of those where he says the same thing over and over throughout the story. Lily thought his wet pink nose was slimy. She thought his small black eyes were beady. And she thought his sweet white fur was not so sweet, especially when he needed his diaper changed. "Julius is the baby of the world," chimed Lily's parents. "Disgusting," said Lily. She's not really being very nice. What do you think? And we know from the last story that she has a tendency to do that. Lily had to share her room with Julius. "After Julius goes away, do I get my room back?" she asked. "Julius isn't going anywhere," said Lily's mother, and he didn't. He stayed and stayed and stayed. And on her room it says, "Royalty only." And look at her face. She's got kind of a grouchy look on her face. Lily was supposed to be very quiet while Julius slept. "After Julius goes away, can I talk like a normal person again?" she shouted. "Julius isn't going anywhere," said Lily's father, and he didn't. He stayed and stayed and stayed. He's awfully cute, don't you think? She really isn't happy to have him there. "We want Julius to grow up to be as extraordinary as you," said Lily's mother. "So you must tell him constantly how beautiful he is and how much we love him." When no one was looking, Lily had her own idea. So here are her parents saying, "We love you, Julius. You're beautiful, Julius." What do you think she's going to say? It's things that are really mean. Look, she's saying, "I hate you. You're ugly." I mean, who says that to a baby? Lily, that's who. "We want Julius to grow up to be as clever as you." Clever means smart, said Lily's father. "So you must sing him his numbers and letters whenever possible." When no one was looking, Lily had her own idea. So here's her dad saying A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and her mom saying 1, 2, 3, 4 in order the way they're supposed to go. But here's Lily. She's getting them all out of order so he won't be smart. 3, 8, 1, 5, 9, 6. A, K, J, Z, B, S, C, H. So she's really not trying very hard to be helpful. Lily's parents were more than a little bit doubtful about leaving those two alone together. Lily tried to frighten Julius with her nifty disguises. She learned magic and tried to make him disappear. When that didn't work, she simply pretended that he didn't exist. That's not very nice. Look, she's wearing that mask. This is the same mask she wore when she scared away Chester, when she was helping Chester and Wilson scare away the kids on the bike, right? And here she is trying to make him disappear. And now he's crying. She's not even trying to make him feel better. She's saying, "Baby? What baby? I don't hear anything." Lily spent more time than usual in the uncooperative chair. Here she's saying, "I hate everything. I'm hungry. I have to go to the bathroom." And she's wearing that mask again down here. That's kind of a scary looking mask. Lily's parents showered her with hugs and kisses and treats of all shapes and sizes. They even let her stay up 15 minutes later than every night. It didn't matter. Nothing worked. "I'm the queen," said Lily, "and I hate Julius." So here she has a doll of a little baby, and she's sticking pins in it. It's called a voodoo doll. But her parents loved him. They kissed his wet pink nose, they admired his small black eyes, and they stroked his sweet white fur. "Julius is the baby of the world," chimed Lily's parents. "Ugh, disgusting," said Lily. So I want you to think about whether you think she's going to change her mind and start to like him. So make a prediction in your mind and see if you think she's going to like him at the end of the story, or if she's still going to be mean. Lily's parents were amused. Amused means they think it's funny. When Julius blew a bubble. "Can you believe it?" they exclaimed. But if Lily did the exact same thing, they said, "Lily, please, mind your manners." Lily's parents were dazzled when Julius babbled and gurgled. "Such a vocabulary," they exclaimed. But if Lily did the exact same thing, they said, "Lily, let's act our age, please." Lily's parents were amazed when Julius screamed. "What lung capacity!" they exclaimed. But if Lily did the same thing, they said, "Lily, let's restrain ourselves, please." Have you ever noticed that babies can do things that big kids can't? One morning, while Lily was busy playing opera, her mother said, "Why don't you put some of that verbal exuberance to good use? Why don't you tell Julius a nice story?" "He's too little to understand a story," said Lily. "Well, he can understand it in his own way," said Lily's mother. "Okay," said Lily, smiling. Do you think that means she's going to tell him a nice story or maybe a mean story? "Julius, the germ of the world, by me," said Lily. "Once upon a time," said Lily, "there was a baby. His name was Julius. Julius was really a germ. Julius was like dust under your bed. If he was a number, he would be 0. If he was a food, he would be a raisin. 0 is nothing. A raisin tastes like dirt. The end," said Lily. Do you think that was a nice story? Do you think her mom's going to think that's a nice story? The story earned her 10 minutes in the uncooperative chair. Lily warned her friends Chester and Wilson and Victor about babies. "Trust me, they're dreadful," she said. Now remember, those are the 3 friends from the other book. First it was Chester and Wilson, and then Victor came at the end, but we didn't really get a chance to meet him. He just showed up. She warned strangers about babies too. "You'll live to regret that bump under your dress," she said. Lily ran away 7 times in one morning. "I'm really leaving this time," she called. "Who knows where they'll find me?" The same afternoon, Lily had a tea party and everyone came, everyone but Julius. "Well, his invitation must have gotten lost in the mail," she explained. Do you think she even invited him? I bet not. How do you think she would feel if people treated her that way? Lily had glorious dreams about Julius and ghastly nightmares too. Look, here she's dreaming that she's riding on a giant cat that's going to eat the baby. That's a terrible dream. And here she's dreaming that the baby's giant. Look at his fangs. See his teeth? And that he's going to get her. Lily's parents showered her with compliments and praise and niceties of all shapes and sizes. They even let her drink her juice out of an antique china cup. It didn't matter. Nothing worked. "I am the queen," said I am the queen, said Lily, "and I hate Julius." So here's a picture she made of her family. "My entire complete family. My new cup. Me. That's all there is. Really. Mom, Dad, me." She likes to draw pictures, if you remember, from Mr. Slinger. But her parents loved him. They kissed his wet pink nose. They admired his small black eyes, and they stroked his sweet white fur. Julius is the baby of the world, chimed Lily's parents. Ugh, disgusting, said Lily. Look, there she is. She's wearing her disguise again. When Lily's parents felt up to it, when Lily's mother felt up to it, she planned a festive celebration in honor of Julius. All the relatives came. There was quite a spread. A spread means lots of good food. What's the big deal, said Lily. Haven't they ever seen a silly lump before? Apparently not. All afternoon the relatives hovered over Julius. They kissed his wet pink nose. They admired his small black eyes, and they stroked his sweet white fur. Usually everybody loves a brand new baby, right? Disgusting, said Cousin Garland. What? Said Lily. Julius, said Cousin Garland. I think his wet pink nose is slimy. I think his small black eyes are beady. And I think his sweet white fur is not so sweet. He needs his diaper changed. Lily's nose twitched. Her eyes narrowed. Her fur stood on end, and her tail quivered. Why do you think Lily's acting that way? That's what she always says, right? So Julius is her baby brother. She thinks she can say bad things, but she doesn't want anybody else saying bad things about him. So let's see what happens. You're talking about my baby brother, said Lily. And for your information, his nose is shiny. His eyes are sparkly. And his fur smells like perfume. Cousin Garland was speechless. He can blow bubbles, continued Lily. He can babble and gurgle, and he can scream better than anyone. Cousin Garland tried to slink out of the room. Stop, said Lily. I am the queen. Watch me closely. So now she's mad at her cousin for saying mean things about her baby brother. Lily picked up Julius. She kissed his wet pink nose. She admired his small black eyes, and she stroked his sweet white fur. Your turn, said Lily, handing Julius over to Cousin Garland. Kiss, admire, and stroke, Lily commanded. Now repeat after me, said Lily. Julius is the baby of the world. Julius is the baby of the world, said Cousin Garland. Louder, said Lily. Julius is the baby of the world, said Cousin Garland. Do you think she's going to start to like him now? She said all those mean things about him, but now she's kissing him and cuddling with him. Do you think she's going to start to like him? And from then on, he was, in everyone's opinion, especially Lily's. So after all that, she turned out to really like him. And look, he's got matching boots and a matching disguise, just like Lily. And she said, we're almost twins. And now she loves him. I love that story. I think Lily is very, very funny. And I like the way she pretty much does whatever she wants and says anything she wants. Now, we're going to see Lily again in another story. I'm not going to tell you what it is. You'll have to be surprised. But anyway, this was Julius, Baby of the World, and I really liked it. I hope you did too. Happy reading, friends.